Today's question of the day is brought to you by Natalie Mandia, and they ask, what was your favorite childhood memory? That's a good question. Well, kind of biased because due to the fact that I cannot remember a lot of things from my childhood, honestly I can, only random bits and pieces, but the one thing I absolutely will remember always to this day was the day that my father bought me a Nintendo 64. That was the very first console I've ever owned. Just one day, I was at school, came back home, went to the room where I slept in. It's just, I always switch rooms for some odd reason, but just, let's say it was still my room at the time, I guess. Just a room where I sleep, I don't know, let's move on. Just, the room. And, when I saw it on the floor, was something I never even seen before. I absolutely never knew it existed. I never really watched too much TV back then, and they never really advertised the consoles too, so I don't remember when the Nintendo 64 actually officially came out, but it was the year 1999 for me. And it was on the floor, I had no idea what it was. And my father was just there setting it up, and it's like, here you go, Nintendo 64. I'm like, thank you! I have no idea why he bought it. I'm gonna have to ask him, why did he buy the Nintendo 64? Honestly, I could have been that one child that never actually had a console just to play video games. I'm gonna actually ask him. I'm gonna ask him. Once he comes back home, I'm gonna ask him that, why did he buy me a Nintendo 64 of all things? Either way, it's just a Nintendo 64, the first game that I ever played was Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And that's kind of the biased thing of having that as my one-time favorite game, but still, it's just, I spent so many hours playing the Nintendo 64. Every chance I got, every time when I went back home, I went onto Nintendo 64 and started playing games. It was so much fun, it kept me occupied. Maybe that's the reason why he actually bought me the Nintendo 64. But either way, like The Legend of Zelda was a great way to actually start playing video games. And that was the reason why I actually liked playing video games, whether that I knew that existed and not knowing that existed. It's just something new that I've always got my hands on and try to beat it try to actually beat the game. That was my main goal. I didn't care for actually 100%ing it. I just wanted to beat the game and see how it ended. But as time went by, I've gotten older, or some other systems that they bought for me, and just because I asked for them, usually during Christmas times, like, can I have this? Can I have this? Please, please, please. Yes. Okay, yeah, you could get it. Stop bugging us. So I'm like, yay! Just, other console that I've owned was the GameCube, and the first game that I had was Super Mario Sunshine. That was a very great game for me to play, and if I ever get around to do a Let's Play of that game, then it's going to be my very own copy that I've always had for the longest of time, and let's see if I can actually play it 100%, because I never 100% of that game either, so I'm gonna have to try. The only thing that I'm kind of scared of is the infamous screen lock or the freeze that keeps happening to me every time when I try to get that one blue coin in Nokia Bay. It would freeze my game. It sucks. I just couldn't get that blue coin, and I really needed that blue coin to get more stars. Or sorry, star sprites, star shines, sun sprites. Whatever. Shine sprites, I don't even know anymore. Just, I gotta play that game to even know what I'm talking about now. It's just, my childhood just evolved, or just, well, I don't know. I'm never too good with words, but it all started because of my father. Just, my father bought the Nintendo 64, I played that game, I played 007, I played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I'm trying to remember some other games. I remember playing Mystical Ninja. I love that game. I never understood it, but I love that game. And what other games? Of course, Mario Party, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Well, I'm trying to remember other games, but Cruis'n USA, good game, good game. I remember playing one of the other old fighter up games. I just don't remember what it was called. I also played Mortal Kombat too. It's just a lot of games I really played. Some of them that, of course, my friends owned, and I would go to their house to actually play the video games. Because what I do is just, I would play the video games, they would just watch. They didn't really mind because I would always unlock stuff for them, and I would always just get stuff for them that they couldn't get themselves. So it was still fun no matter what. But, just for the childhood memory, it's just the very first console that I've had, and the very first game that I played. I remember that back then when the internet was still kind of a small thing, that we would actually look up how to actually beat this, and this, and my father would actually print out the strategy guide for us so that we could actually learn how to play the game and learn how to beat it. So it was kind of fun. He was actually interested too. Maybe that's why he bought it as well, but I just don't know. He never actually really played the video games with me due to the fact that when of course back then he would work at the late graveyard shifts. Like, he would wake up 6 in the morning, and by the time he gets home, it's already around 6 to 6:30 p.m. So I never really got to see my father throughout the day, but whenever he came home, he always wants to go to sleep. So, yeah. Just the moments where I actually hung out with my father was either a movie on Sundays or just quality time eating at a restaurant on Sundays. Every other day, he just went to work and came back home, and all he wanted to do was sleep, and I made sure not to be too loud with my video game playing, because back then, this is a thing that I really gonna have to discuss in another time, but I really had a rage problem back then, and it wasn't because of what happened in the family, it's because of what went on at the neighbor's house. So we're gonna leave that for another topic of the day. So, again, for the question of my favorite childhood memory, or favorite, I cannot talk for myself. I can't even talk anymore. I've been doing this for too long. That, first, my favorite, and the one thing I could never forget, is the fact that I got a Nintendo 64, and I started playing Legend of Zelda. And moved on to where I was obsessed of actually playing video games, and wanting to play as many games as I can, and trying to beat it, just from start to finish, without 100%ing it, just to have fun. So, let's just leave it as that. Thank you, Natalie, for the question of the day, and for the same question to you guys, what is your favorite childhood memory? Feel free to leave your answers in the comment section below, or if you want to make a video response, you may do so. Just message me that you made a video response, so I can put that as an annotation at the end of this video. So, if you guys have any questions for me to answer, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or if you want to message me on Facebook or Twitter, you may do that as well. And if I do answer your question in a video, I'll credit you verbally within that video. I will link your channel in the description of that video, and I will annotate your channel at the end of the video, giving you thanks for helping me out with something to do or something to talk about for that day. And the clattering that you may have heard was from the Chihuahua. Why? Did you hear something? Did you hear something? You're just looking at me like, why? I don't know. Just... okay, just let's leave it off as that, I guess. Chihuahua, why? Okay. Have a great day, everyone. I'm SorCane090, and as always, I will see you in the next video.